just got off this phone interview with a potential hire, and we were talking about, I have routine questions that I asked them, and she kept talking and talking over me, but which had some flags to it that I was concerned about. But the couple of things that she did is she told me that she recently had just left a job at a local veterinary clinic. And I thought it was interesting because we have staff that actively work at that veterinary clinic. So while this candidate is talking to me, I'm messaging one of our current employees asking, hey, do you know this person? And they end up going, no, I don't. And it led me to this conversation of interest because I was thinking about how referral networks and getting to know other businesses, especially other pet care businesses, can not only help us get new client referrals, but also work with new hires and potentially employee situations. So let's talk about that today. Let's talk about how referral networks can be beneficial, not just for getting new clients, but also getting new employees or staff as well. My name is Amber Van Denzen. This is our new rescue. His name is Willow. He is an 8-plus-year-old little rescue who is actually pretty much blind at this point, and he has some incontinence issues. I'm a veterinary technician of 13 years, animal science degree, owner of an award-winning pet care company, Attaboy Animal Care, with a team of over 15 pet sitters and employees. So let's today talk about how networking with local businesses and how we do that can also help us with other aspects of our business as well. So not only am I a business owner, I'm a professional mom of 2 human children. I have autoimmune disorders. I have a husband. I have a house and a large backyard I have to take care of. So I have little time to fuck around and find out, especially when it comes to hiring. So I've developed a very unique system and process to get to as much information as possible and as quickly as possible. And then there's like what I call red flags of things that make me concerned. And what the great part is that especially is when people submit resumes of their previous employment and they happen to hit on local professional animal companies, whether it's veterinary clinics or stores or trainers or whatever, I've developed a great connection with most facilities and companies that I know at least someone there that I can reach out to and say, hey, do you know this person and what's your thought processes on them? And this is a great example of what that happened with, is that this potential candidate said, initially, I just left this job at ABC Veterinary. And so I was like, I know that facility. We have staff there. And right away, I'm messaging one of our staff persons saying, hey, do you know this person? And then she tries to kind of quickly go through that and starts talking about something else, and I circle back to it and I said, remind me, what's that facility again? I didn't see it on your resume. And she goes, I didn't work there really that long, actually. It was less than a month. I didn't like the vibe. And she starts kind of giving some negative feedback on that, and I thought that was like super odd. So while I'm waiting for my other employee to respond, I'm kind of talking to her and trying to get more information out of her. And then it comes out that she then says, well, I actually didn't even work there long enough to get a paycheck. Well, long story short, I will tell you what the actual story is at the end of this video, but how that was beneficial to me is I was able to reach out. Yeah, that was a staff member, which was a great situation, but I also had people that have reached out that they, put on their hiring resume that they worked at a local dog training company, and I know the owner of the dog training company. I say, hey, so-and-so, do you know this person? What's your recommendation? We've had that happen in the past. And they say, you know what, that's a great candidate. I would hire him for sure. Their hours just didn't match what we needed right now. Perfect. Love things like that. Sometimes they're like, yep, I can just verify employment. They definitely worked there, which is the more legal route of that they can just say, yep, I can legally say they worked here from this time to this time, and there's no commentary I can give besides that. Okay, fair enough. At least I can verify the employment. Now, do I verify employment usually? No, I don't. I actually don't take that time, and it's a very common HR practice to verify previous employment for situations like this where they may be potentially lying about their qualifications or candidacy of, previous history of care, which may matter to you and your company based off of what type of position that you're hiring them for. In my situations, it's not as relevant, so I really don't care, and part of my hiring process is kind of testing in that knowledge naturally. So whether their history is kind of fabricated or not, I can kind of tell what I need from them, and if they have that knowledge through my hiring systems and processing and questions that I ask them. So it's a bit irrelevant, but in situations like this where I definitely know I have a connection, I'm definitely going to reach out because those people I may know more, trust more with their opinions, and it ultimately can lead to situations like this. So how do we get those networking people And how do we get those relationships with those businesses? There's a couple steps. First and foremost, if you don't already have a professional pet networking group in your area, make one. It's as simple as starting a Facebook page, messaging all the local pet businesses that you can think of, dog trainers, fecal waste, pickup companies, pet sitters and dog walkers, veterinary clinics are a little less likely, but especially because you have to find like the manager versus the business. Invite them to join the group. It can be virtual meetups via Zoom. It can be in-person coffee, or it can just be a virtual setup that you kind of guys can communicate back and forth and at least have connections and contact information for key people at each one of those businesses, either for referral networks, sponsorship opportunities, partnering in the future to some type of events or activities, and then especially maybe reaching out for potential employee candidacy options. So that's a great way to do that. Now, how does that provide benefit to other businesses that they want to join this business? Well, first you talk about what can I help you? What can I help your business for? A very good friend of mine, Doug Keeling from Bad to the Bone, said that to me the other day. He's like, when I go to other businesses and try to connect with them, I ask them, how can I help you? A great example he told me was that his local vet clinics he would go that have dog boarding and daycare, and he would actually offer pet transportation for their own clientele. So they would give a Bad to the Bone card to their boarding facility clients and say, hey, if you want to use our facility and you can't do the pickup and drop off times, you can hire this company to do the pickup and drop off times for you. Great way that you're not overstepping boundaries. You're not taking their clientele. There's never enough space at boarding facilities usually anyway, so eventually they're going to have to refer to you anyways. So it works out. And then it looks like you're not just coming in for your needs, but rather helping their needs. Same thing with pet stores. You can offer to hand out treat samples to your clientele or share their information on your newsletters. Dog trainers, same situation. You can offer to hand out their cards or something in your welcome packets or a digital packet to your new clientele. So especially when you have clients that definitely have pets that need some additional training. Veterinarians, you can say, hey, we have a veterinarian list. Would you like to be on that? We send this out to all of our X amount of hundreds of clients or 5 clients or whatever you have at this moment. And all of those things can start slowly developing that referral network. Again, you're doing more for them than you're asking from them to do for you. And then I start those processes, and I never even usually offer to hand my marketing goodies, whether it's business cards or rack cards or brochures. I don't even offer it. I always have it with me. But more often than not, when I say, hey, my name is so-and-so, I'm with Attaboy Animal Care, I was wanting to see, if I could help you with this, or I would love to connect with you because I would love to see if I can get some business cards of yours. They naturally reciprocate and go, hey, can we have business cards of yours? And then ding, in the moment, I am now in the door. Of course you can. Here's a brochure holder. I always have a brochure holder, or I do rack cards, which are the single page back and front. I have a card holder for that, which has our sticker of our business on it. So when it runs out, they know what was there previously and they can message us asking for more. And now they know I'm here to help them as much as they can help us. So what do I do next? Now that I've created that connection, how do I keep that connection? So what we do is every quarter, we bring baskets of goodies to each one of our key connector points. This is not every single one necessarily. One quarter I may do veterinary clinics, another quarter I may do groomers and trainers. It kind of just depends on our availability and what we want or what we've noticed lacking in referrals from certain resources. And then our budget, of course, as well. And those baskets are themes, a bunch of different baskets. I have a great list of resource of all the types of themes and baskets, whether it's like a cookies and milk theme or a tropical theme or a healthy theme vibe that may have seaweed snacks and fruit juices in it instead. We have a plethora that we pull from and kind of rotate through. So that keeps that connection. The next thing we do is our newsletter we send out quarterly. We make sure we get the business's email and we do put them on that quarterly newsletter, and we do shout outs of local pet businesses and other non-pet businesses as well, potentially, that may be good referral networks like travel agencies, real estate agents, things of that sort, so they can see that we are showcasing businesses, so they're more willing to want to connect with us to keep that connections because it's free marketing for them ultimately. And so that's another way we retain that connection as well. And last but not least, if we do get a referral from one of these resources, we try to send thank you cards or thank you emails or in-person thank yous for those referrals specifically. Depending on time, even I have to work on this because I'm not the best at it, reminding to do it, but we do try to do that so they can see that we are getting referrals from them and thanking them. Just like if it was a regular client that was referring, I'm going to send them a thank you and usually give a credit to their account. We try to do that on the business level as well in some way or form. So that again keeps that referral connection, because now that referral connection of getting new clients is benefiting me in different ways. It's now going, hey, if I now have a connection with the manager at this grooming facility and I say, hey, so-and-so applied to our company, they said they worked for you a year or so ago or last year, do you know them, what do you think? Now I have a way of getting great intel on a potential new employee, just like I did today, that then ultimately decided that I probably don't want to move forward with that candidate. And in this situation, what happened, the final story of this situation is that candidate actually never worked at that veterinary clinic. Funny enough, she actually went in for an interview just this morning, and the key concerns I had, that hiring manager at that facility also had, lo and behold, and she disclosed that, and I said, oh my gosh, those are the same concerns I had on my list as well. And she goes, yeah, we're not planning on hiring her, we haven't told her yet. And I said, and when I told her, well, she said she's been working for you already. She goes, that definitely I'm not going to be hiring her, even though we are desperate for employees at this point. That is just something I can't do, because if she's lying about that, then what else is she lying about? Also, at the end of the phone call, this candidate mentioned a piece of information that I provided earlier in the conversation. When she did mention that vet clinic, I said, oh, do you know this person, or this person, as they currently or previously have worked at the facility? And she goes, oh no, I didn't really know anybody there since I wasn't there that long. And one of the names at the end of the conversation, about 10-15 minutes later, she pulled out and said, oh yeah, my friend recommended me to you because she said she used to work for you and you guys were a great facility. And I bluntly just asked, because at this point I don't play games, I said, who was the person that referred you? And she's like, and then pulled out one of the names that I had previously mentioned. And so I reached out to that person. I said, hey, do you happen to know this person? And funny enough, she did, because the veterinary industry is very small in our area. But she worked with her like over 10 years ago. And she's like, I cannot and will not vouch for her. Let's just say that. And I definitely did not refer her to you. So that is the moral of the story, is how referral networks can not just be beneficial for referrals of clientele, but in other ways to strengthen your company, such as hiring or resources or partnerships in the future. And now that veterinary clinic also knows that that candidate, whether maybe she was a no initially, that they may have rethought about that later in the day, but now they've heard this scenario, they're definitely not going to hire her because she's lied in multiple ways at this point already. What else is she lying about too, right, guys? So I hope you guys have a wonderful day. Learn from our mistakes, and I hopefully can learn from yours too. Have you ever had a situation like this? I look forward to talking to you soon. Bye-bye, guys.